so that we do the right things. We pray, Father, that our work will be pleasing in your sight. In Christ's precious name we pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the American flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor to Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to each of Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. So as I said, we're going to start with the zoning board of adjustment item, public hearing. It is item number 4, conduct a public hearing regarding a request by the owner agent of the property situated in the city of Van Alstyne, county of Grayson, state of Texas, being described as 2.41 acre portion of G-0771 McKinney Collin A-G-0771 acres 10.9. Grayson County Central Appraisal District, property ID 136100, for a variance to comprehensive zoning regulations, section 9B, dot 4, height and area regulations, appendix 1-A, side yard interior, side yard corner, and rear yard. The owner agent is requesting the variance to reduce the side yard interior requirement from 10 feet to 6 feet, side yard corner from 15 feet to 12 feet, and rear yard from 25 feet to 20 feet, for the property requested to be zoned single-family residential district 72, and in parentheses, SF-72. And sir, did you want to address that for us?
Mayor, members of the council, my name is Greg Edwards. I'm with Greg Edwards Human Services. Basically, I hope you got our cover letter on that explaining our variance. Basically, these variances to match the lots across the street and basically allow us to place the largest building footprint and have the Stone Hall first. So if you have any questions, try to answer those, but hopefully you'll consider this a reasonable request. Let's move forward with it.
All right, sir. Does anyone from the council? Anyone from the public have any questions or comments on the site? I'll take a second call for any questions or comments. Third and last call for any questions or comments. Seeing no hands, we'll move on. Now, this is also an item of consideration. However, we're going to recess temporarily the zoning board of adjustment because regarding the same property, we have some other items that we have to take up before we actually take this item up. And so at this time, at 6:35, I'm going to move on to the regular city council meeting on this Tuesday, June 14th. The first thing is citizens' communications, and we do have a citizen communication from Mr. Larry Adams. Oh, okay, I'm calling the city council meeting to order at 6:30. Mr. Adams?
I'm actually here to speak on the towing ordinance that the city is looking into, and I think the council in 3 minutes. I just want to say that I've been in business 10 years. I've towed for the city of Van Alstyne for approximately less than 9 years. We have made the commitment, have made the investments. We are capable of towing everything that the city has. We've been very fast in response, very professional. We pretty much cater to the fire department and the police department due to some scenes that are pretty graphical. And we've done very well. We're actually the second largest towing company in the city of Grayson County. in general. And by the research that we've done, a records needed in the city of Mount Alstyne, 1 in over 3 to 4 days. Just to give an estimate of how much towing Mount Alstyne actually does, they towed 7 cars in the last 92 days. And I just feel that we've done our time. We've been very loyal to the city. We have been to every call, whether it's 30 minutes call or whether it's 14 hours. And I know that Chief Lawrence is not here, but he can vouch for that we have had some very hectic situations. We have over 30 years of towing experience, and I think that the city will make the right judgment and the right call on option 23. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to item 5, public hearings. We have a set of public hearings. Number 5 is conduct a public hearing regarding a request by the owner agent of the property being described as Divisions Van Alstyne Lot PT6. What would that stand for? Park? Okay. More commonly known as 302 North Main Drive, to change the zoning ordinance or the current zoning from commercial district dash general C2 in parentheses, single-family residential dash 60 in parentheses SF dash 60. And so, is there any discussion on this item?
Is the representative here?
This. All right. Well, is there any discussion? Are there any questions from the council?
I had some questions about it, but I had to answer the questions. Somebody beat me.
Well, we move on to item number 6. Well, I'll make a second call for any commentary, questions, discussion. Third and last call for discussion on this item. Seeing no hands, we'll move on to item number 6. Conduct a public hearing regarding the request by the owner agent of the property being described as Greer's First Edition, Block 5, Block Park North 1/2 of 2 acres, .09, more commonly known as 675 North Sherman Lane, to change the current zone to single-family residential district, -1 in parentheses SF-1, to single-family residential townhomes in parentheses SF-TH. Is there anyone here to discuss that item? Anything from the council?
Not with nobody in.
All right. Moving on to item number 7, conduct a public hearing regarding request by the owner agent of the property being described as 2.41 acre portion of G-0771 King Colin A-G0771 acres 10.9, Grayson County Central Appraisal District, property ID 136102, to zone the property single-family residential district -72 and in parentheses SF-72. And this is the same parcel.
The zoning request basically allows us to get the same size lots on the south side of Thompson, lot, 9 lots, required to provide a way for Thompson, so we can dedicate the right of way for Thompson, put that for access into George County too, so
Yes, sir. Thank
have any
you.
questions?
So are there any questions from the public? Questions, discussion regarding this item? Now there are 2 items coming up on our consent agenda regarding that same property. All right. And so we'll move on to the consent agenda now.
I guess just. Okay.
All right.
Is Robert Shelton here? Robert Shelton?
All right. All right, so I'm going to start. I'll read, we'll have items 8 through 18. I'll read them all, but item number 9 is going to come off the consent agenda because we want a little more discussion on that item before there's a vote taken. Item number 8, consider and take any action necessary regarding approval of minutes from the May 10th, 2016 regular meeting and the May 11th, 2016 and May 16th, 2016 special call meeting. Item number 9, which is we're going to discuss later, but I'll read it now. Consider and take any action necessary regarding the request by the owner agent of the property being described as Divisions Van Alstyne, Lot Part 6, more commonly known as 302 North Main Drive, to change the current zoning from commercial district, general, C2 in parentheses, to single-family residential -60, SF60 in parentheses. And as I said, we're going to insert that in the regular agenda. We're going to be a part of the vote on this consent agenda. Item number 10, consider and take any action necessary regarding a request by the owner agent of the property being described as Greer's First Edition, Block 5, Lot Part North 1/2 of 2, acres .09, more commonly known as 675 North Sherman Lane, to change the current zoning of single-family residential district -1 and in parentheses SF-1 to single-family residential townhomes and in parentheses SF-TH. Item number 11, consider and take any action necessary regarding the approval of ordinance of the City Council of the City of Van Alstyne, Texas, annexing property into the City of Van Alstyne, Texas, being described as a 2.41 acre tract being part of G-0771 Kitty Common A-G-0771 acres 10.9 Grayson County Central Appraisal District, property ID 136100, generally located in the area south of West Village Parkway and east of Kelly Lane, extending the boundary limits of the city so as to include the property, the described property, and adopting a service plan. Item number 12, consider and take any action necessary regarding a request by the owner agent of the property being described as a 2.41 acre portion of G-0771 Kenny Collin A-G-0771 acres 10.9 Grayson County Central Appraisal District, property ID 136100, to zone the property for single-family residential district -72 and in parentheses SF-72. Item number 13, consider and take any action necessary before I move on to 13. All right. Item number 13, consider and take any action necessary regarding a preliminary plat of Georgetown Village Phase 3, 16.479 acres, being called part of the Colin McKinney Survey Abstract Number 771, Van Alstyne, Grayson County, Texas, located near the southeast corner of Kelly Lane and Village Park. Item number 14, consider and take any action necessary regarding appointing Robert Shelton to the Parks and Recreation Board. Item number 15, consider and take any action necessary regarding passage of a resolution of support for the North Texas Regional Airport Perrin Field, in parentheses Incorporated / U.S. Aviation Corp. to bid on the United States Air Force initial flight training request for proposal. Item number 60, consider and take any action necessary regarding the passage of the resolution authorizing the closure of the fire department capital outlay bank account. Item number 17, consider and take any action necessary regarding adopting a resolution approving an annexation plan for the city of Van Alstyne. Item number 18, consider and take any action necessary regarding the lease and easement agreement between Felix Land Partners, LP, and the city of Van Alstyne for the Palladium Senior Living project. And those are all of the consent agenda items. And once again, number 9 has been taken off for further discussion later. Is there a motion to approve items all but number 9 consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? Second. All in favor of approving all of these accepted? And it is unanimous. So all but number 9, item number 9 are approved. And so we're going to recess the regular city council meeting and for a discussion on a zoning board of ordinance item number 5, and the time is 6:48 p.m. All right. So the item for consideration is consider and take any action necessary regarding a request by the owner agent of property situated in the city of Van Alstyne, County of Grayson, State of Texas, being described as a 2.41 acre portion of G-0771 in column A-G-0771, acres 10.9, Grayson County Central Appraisal District property ID 136100 for a variance to comprehensive zoning regulation, section 9B.4, height and area regulations, appendix 1-A, side yard interior, side yard corner, and rear yard. The owner agent is requesting the variance to reduce the side yard interior requirement from 10 foot to 6 foot, side yard corner from 15 to 12 feet, and rear yard from 25 feet to 20 feet for the property requested to be zoned single-family residential district -72, in parentheses, SF-72. And before we could handle this item, we had to take a vote on the items that were on the consent agenda. That's why we put this where we did. But we had to have some jurisdiction over the property before we could approve this. And so, as for action necessary, is there any discussion or any questions from the council? All right, we have a motion on this item.
That's supposed to approve the changes to the requirement, the right distances.
All right, we have a motion to approve in a second. All in favor? It's unanimous, and so that's approved. So now, we will, all right, the time is 6:50, we're going to adjourn from the zoning board of adjustment and go back to a regular city council. And on the regular non-consent agenda, item number 19. Oh, and the time is 6:51. Back to the regular agenda. Consider and take any action necessary regarding the 2014-2015 fiscal year audit presented by Susan McCauley of the Follick and Abbott LLC. Oh, well, we did. Okay. All right. No, please go ahead.
Okay. Okay, we do have a PowerPoint up here of what some of the things I'll be saying, so we can follow along. I'll be presenting the 2015 annual financial report for the city. We'll be covering the objectives and scopes of our audit, the financial report. I'll give you an update on the financial highlights, an overview of the results, recommendations, certain required communications, and then closing remarks. Our objective, of course, was to conduct an audit in accordance with the government auditing standards. We had to plan and perform the audit to obtain reasonable assurance that the financial statements were free of material misstatement. It is a full scope audit, which means we did cover your governmental activities, your business activities, your component units, as well as each major fund. The table of contents in your bound report that you should have received this is a highlight of what's in there. I do stress that you go through and read this and understand everything. Today I'm just going over a summary of everything, but our audit report is on page 1. There's management and discussion and analysis on page 3 through 7. The government-wide financials, page 8 and 9. Fund financials are presented at page 10 through 16. Of course, there's financial statement notes, required supplemental information, and then a required report on internal controls at page 45. First, we'll start out with the highlights of the government-wide financial statements. The net position of the city is $6,569,431 at the end of fiscal year 15, and that is presented on page 8. Of that, the unrestricted debt portion of the city is $780,713 at the end of the year. That is a decrease from last year of $685,217. However, overall, the net position did increase by $667,955, or 10%. A new thing this year is GASB statement number 68, accounting and financial reporting for pensions. This year, the city implemented GASB 68, as all cities are now required to report their net pension liability. And so that is presented on page 8 and 9, and then also in the utility fund. At the end of the year, TMRS estimated the city's liability for this is $523,796. There are, as well as these amounts that are on these financial statements, there's disclosures and required schedules that are report all this pension information. But if you look on page 44, there is a schedule that reports the city's pension, is 85% funded at the end of the year. The fund financial statements, which begin on page 10, the general fund unassigned fund balance was $701,868. It did go up this year by $119,000 approximately. This can be used by the city to meet ongoing obligations, and it represents about 2 months of reserve, when optimally you're looking for 3 to 6 months. Overall, though, the general fund did decrease in fund balance by $323,382, and that was primarily due to proceeds of the debt issuance that were used this year to purchase capital outlays. Going forward to page 14, the water and sewer fund unrestricted net position. We're kind of looking at the same thing here. It went down to a negative $297,279, which was really a big swing of $634,000 approximately. And this resulted from just general fund expenses, not general fund, but generally fund expenses, issuance of new debt, and increased restricted amounts. There's no reserve as a result at the end of the year, and when you're looking for 3 to 6 months. However, overall, the net position did increase by $240,324, which is 5%. It just didn't increase enough to take care of that negative fund balance. So it's got to keep going. There's 3 elements in there. There's the investment in fixed asset, there's the restricted monies, and then there's the unrestricted. And basically, once you start spending your debt money, that money that's unrestricted will go into investment in fixed assets. But at the same time, the only way to get this up really is to just budget the general monies, the revenues and expenses, pull that number up. So that's where the water fund was at the end of the year. The next slide is on the EDC. We did audit the EDC and CDC in conjunction with this audit. You'll see that the net position is $595,641. The revenue is well above expenses, and there was an increase in the net position of $75,762. So basically, that entity is taking care of itself. Same thing really with the CDC. The assets are much greater than the liability. The net position is $263,349. The revenues are much more than the expenses, and there was a net increase in the net position of $70,309. The overview of audit results, we had 2 audit reports, as I mentioned. The first one was on page 1 and 2, and that is our audit report, and it was unmodified or clean. The second report that we issued was on page 45 and 47, and that is on internal controls based on a governmental audit. We did have one finding, 2015-1, that we consider to be a material weakness. Basically, I'll read it to you. The city's internal control over ambulance services are not adequate to properly supervise the process, including adopting realistic budgets, monitoring spending based on adopted budgets, and overseeing the billing and collection process. I don't think it's any surprise to anybody that the ambulance has been having problems. The revenue, what brought us to this conclusion is the revenue is down about $95,000, 21%, but at the same time, accounts receivable are up $668,000. So all of your money is just in there in a receivable, and there's something like $6 million sitting there uncollected right now. The ambulance budget was, the revenue was $321,000 under budget, which technically probably should have been in the legal budget, because when you see that going wrong, you need to correct it because you want to take care of spending, because spending can only go as far as revenue. Also, there was an issue with the ambulance billing company, and the city did not timely detect that they were owed $89,000. Frank has told me that that's now all been collected. So that's a good thing. It's just now that you have a new billing company, that's not really an internal control. The internal control is supervising them to make sure that they really do collect your money. If you read in this report, you'll see a full outline of what we had as well as management's response and all the things that they're implementing to try to correct this situation. And I think they're acting very proactively now, so we can go from there. Other recommendations that are just recommendations, I've issued this before. Continue to adopt budgets to increase your unassigned fund balance to the 3 months. Same thing with the water fund on the net position. Consider purchasing cash reconciliation module. Those are done by hand, and there's a lot of them, and it's very time consuming. Capitalize according to your policy of purchases greater than $5,000, and then properly utilize the capital outlay accounts to only record those kinds of purchases. The accounts payable clerk should reconcile the accounts payable detail monthly, and the city should continue to work with their consultant to be sure that all closing adjustments are done. The process might have been considered a little rough this year. We had 19 adjustments, so I'd really like to see that go down. There was a couple recommendations on the EDC and CDC. They need to refine their month-end and year-end closing procedures to be sure that the audit adjustments are posted correctly, but also their closing adjustments. There was a couple of little issues. There's a duplicate check in the EDC. Just need to delete it. But if you looked at your general ledger, you would have to wonder, why is my cash $40,000 less than it should be? And it's just because of a check that was never cleared. It just gives a duplicate. The CDC did misdate a check, trying to put AP back, they backdated a check, but best policy is write the check, the date written, date it that way, and then use the accounts payable function to get an accrual in the right year. There are just a few required things that we're supposed to communicate to you, the council. There's sensitive estimates in here, the allowance for uncollectible court fines and ambulance services. Those are sensitive estimates that are just based on estimates. Those can change. Significant disclosures, of course, about your long-term debt. The city issued, I think, $2.8 million in new debt this year. So those pages are, and the footnotes are very informative if you look there. We didn't have any difficulties, really. We had a little bit of delay with the ambulance, but not really a difficulty. All corrected and uncorrected misstatements were accepted by the city, and of course, we had no disagreements. And finally, I would like to thank Frank Baker and Jennifer Rule and Kenita Larkins for their help. They assisted in the process. Appreciate it. If there's any questions or comments, I'll be happy to address them.
Just restate your word.
All in favor? The audit is accepted. Oh, that's right. Okay. Now, as I said earlier, we pulled item number 9 off the consent agenda so that we can discuss it further. And I'll read it one more time. Consider and take any action necessary regarding the request by the owner agent of the property being described as Divisions Van Alstyne, Lot Part 6, more commonly known as 302 North Main Drive, to change the current zoning from commercial district general in parentheses C2 to single-family residential -60 and in parentheses SF-60. Questions or comments from the council?
I just have one that they gave us a drawing of what they were planning on doing, and I'm assuming that the house that they gave us a picture of has nothing to do with what the houses actually look like. I would like to have heard them say that, they were gonna put, I think it talks about double-car garages and that kind of stuff on it, so it would have been nice to have sort of seen the design of what they were thinking about, that kind of stuff, which is why I was wanting to talk to them.
Councilman, what he has in the statement, the summary of purpose of rezoning. I think the main question is where's the two-car garage going to be? In the third sentence, it says two-car garage with 2 of the side entries off of Van Alstyne Parkway and Taylor Street, and 1 entry off North Main. So he's anticipating 2 of the side entries off Taylor and 1 off of Main Street, if that helps.
Is it okay to use hardy plank in this position?
It's in the Old Town Overlay District. Is that correct? So that would be acceptable on the township. No. I believe it is.
Okay. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. Yes, because this is just the zoning, so plans left come in, once plans come in, now that if y'all agree to change the zoning, we'll take a look at it, if his approved plan, if his proposed plan meets the setbacks, which it should, and meets the masonry content or composition, the rest of that. Right now, it's just the zoning, which also will have to follow the requirements.
And now they were here before the planning and zoning commission.
Yes, sir.
And what's been approved by the planning and zoning commission? Is it just their recommendation on the zoning change? Or have they been planning and zoning on 12?
P&Z approved to move forward. Councilman Blake, it's also saying we're provided several pages. Under a single-family homes, it says hardy plank and/or brick exterior that fits into the look and feel of the area.
Yeah.
So if it is at 60%, you get in the front, let be at 100, and then the other sides will make up the rest of the 60. But if it's an Old Town Overlay District, then the hardy plank throughout will be allowed. Okay.
Do I have a motion just to put it in to approve the zoning change? Motion to change the zoning, or allow the zoning change. Second. Second, all in favor? So the zoning change will be allowed. All right, item number 20. Consider and take any action necessary regarding awarding the depository agreement.
Council, we've got the proposals from Independent Landmark and Texas Star Bank right here. They weren't large enough to, they were large enough, or too large for us to be able to download them in an appropriate format to send them out. They have been available for y'all to peruse and review. We did a quick sheet within your agenda to help you understand what the responses were, and trying to give you a foundation to move forward.
And so we have, are we going to approve this evening?
Council may, if they choose.
Any discussion? Or motion?
Do we have anybody here from any banks? Independent, you want to come forward and tell us why we should choose you?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Hill. I'm from Independent Bank. We currently have your business. We've enjoyed doing business with you for the last 4 years. We want to continue to build that relationship. I currently do live in Alstyne. I also have children that attend the AISD. I live in Georgetown. Very, very available in the community. I'm always here. The reason you should choose us is because you've been with us. You know what service you can expect. Our rates are, I have no idea if it's still, I have no clue what everybody else's rates are, but I'm sure we're more than competitive. We always have been. And also, you can pick up the phone and call me. You can pick up your phone and call me on my cell phone. I have it with you 24 hours a day because I'm available. Frank knows that all of you know that I'm available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's why you should choose us.
Thank you. Anyone else hear from any other bank?
Hi. Mayor, council members, I'm Brittany Moulton. I'm with Landmark Bank. I am our treasury management specialist for all of our Texas Bank. As you do know, we do have a Landmark Bank in Van Alstyne, so we've been here for a while. A lot of our bankers are really involved in the community. One of our commercial lenders, Nathan Petrie, I'm sure you all know, I think also serves on one of the county development boards, and I think he's pretty involved in the community and his kids and everything. I also feel like our rate that we bid for you guys is pretty competitive. You know, we've been after the city's business for a while now. We've done a few loans and worked with Jennifer a little bit on that. So we really value the city and everything that you guys have to offer, and we would like the opportunity to show you guys what we can do for you.
Mr.
No.
Right.
Was Robert Tripp here? With the start?
I mean, I'm abstaining from the vote for whatever reason. I say anything on behalf of that.
I wouldn't.
I'm just kidding.
We have a motion regarding the depository. I'll ask for a motion, and then I'll ask for further discussion, comments, and so we can take a vote. We're gonna take this item up in executive session, because there is quite a bit of discussion on it. I'm not gonna ask for a vote right now. And so I'm gonna take up item number 21. Consider, provide direction and take any action necessary regarding the request from John Jennings to revise current city towing ordinances and procedures to include a rotation list selection system. And we've had some public discussion on this.
I just have updated drafts to provide.
I will tell you that this is a newer draft. We have, of course, our old ordinance. And the proposal was to change our old ordinance to allow for a rotation system. There was a draft of the ordinance, but it's been redrafted. This is another draft. I'm not sure. And this will be another item we will take up in executive session. So moving on to item number 22, consider and take any action necessary regarding a resolution presented by the Parks and Recreation Board recognizing the Van Alstyne Sports Authority, or VASA, as preferred league for youth sports in the city of Van Alstyne, and repealing resolution number 03-2014-01. Resolution, but we have to do it. Resolution is lengthy, has more detail than the resolution that it might be played to deal with.
Understanding. Okay, so we have drafting a resolution to make them the preferred recreation board, but the staff is recommending a facilities use agreement with that. Is that what I'm doing? That's my question.
So
I do like the facilities use agreement. I think there's more detail with that, can be revised annually with regards to performance and all the different variable circumstances involved. I would rather have a facilities use agreement versus a resolution. I think that kind of ties the city a little too typically versus a facilities use agreement with that. That makes interesting.
And so we prefer that we did not adopt the resolution and instead ask for a whole workup of facilities use agreement.
Yes, the staff and Parks and Rec, everybody can agree on it. That can be reviewed annually. I mean, Bass is doing a great job maintaining ball fields and stuff. It's not negative towards Bass, don't get me wrong. I'm just thinking the facility use agreement is more beneficial between the two of us that can be reviewed annually versus a resolution that may be a little more involved.
And so would your motion be then to
Table it.
not adopt, or you want to
Table it and request staff to bring back a facility use agreement first.
date certain to bring that back?
You do not, because it was not an item noticed in the paper, so it can be left to staff to put it on a future agenda date. I guess my only question would be, do you want it to go back through Parks and Recreation?
I think they need to be
first?
involved in that use because they've got their concepts and stuff. It's just a different legal form.
So we have a motion to table this item.
Second.
Second, all in favor of tabling the item? It is unanimous. We're going to table the item. Wait for the use of it. Oh, and item number 23, consider and take any action necessary regarding appointment of a mayor pro tem. Our old beat up mayor pro tem. He's been doing this for years. I don't know if he still wants the job.
So my question is, are you still willing?
Huh?
Are you still willing to serve
Yeah.
as pro tem?
Absolutely.
Then I make a motion for Billy Lane to serve as our mayor pro tem.
We have a motion and a second. All right, all in favor? All right, it is unanimous, once again. Item number 24, consider and take any action necessary regarding nominating a person to represent general law cities to serve on the Greater Texoma Utility Authority Board of Directors. We had someone nominated, someone serving in that position, but she has taken a job on the city council. Her name is
Jeannie Anderson.
Jeannie Anderson. She's taken it, she's on the council now, so she can't serve on this board. And I don't know if anyone has any nominees at this time. So is this something else we need to table?
Just wait a minute.
Is there a certain amount of time you have before you have to do something?
We have to have a nomination back to GTUA by the 30th of this month.
we would
So if we
to
have
do
a
it
nomination,
tonight. We have to do it tonight.
or have a special called meeting, yes.
And it has to be somebody from our job.
It's not an employee of the city.
We probably should have contacted them to ask them if they were.
If we have no ideas for nominations, then I suppose we should set a special call meeting. All right, and it's got to be done by before the 3rd. Do you have any proposed dates for a special call meeting?
First of all, see anybody go together.
Okay, well, so your intent is to get some nominees or a nominee first, and then we'll set a special call. And so we're taking no action at this time on that item. Item number 25, consider and take any action necessary regarding a proposal submitted by Dewberry regarding municipal facilities master plan. Mayor, Mr. Tim Smith.
Good evening, everybody. About 14 or 15 months ago, I think we started a conversation at the Texas Police Chiefs Conference, Chief Barnes. And we've Dewberry's an architectural firm in Dallas, and we've been kind of watching the growth as it goes north. And we look at Alstyne and some of the other small towns that are facing 10% a year or more growth. And we look at those challenges that you're going to face in terms of providing city services and public safety and those things. It's the arena that we operate in. We design and build police facilities, fire facilities, city halls, libraries, civic architecture. So as we see the Metroplex marching towards the Red River, and we look at cities like this, you know, having to address that growth. And one of the things that we try to help folks like you avoid is reactionary buildings, the phrase we use, where you wake up one day and collectively decide that the growth is here and you have to prepare for it. So what we provided was a proposal to do a master plan that basically gives you a roadmap to navigate that growth by. And what we will do is start with population assessments and things like that. We will look at the existing infrastructure in the city. We will classify the useful life that's left in it. We don't automatically assume we're just going to throw everything out and start over. We're going to see what there is here that's of value yet, and maybe for the next 10, 15, 20 years down the road. We do these stress index formulas that look at how much service you have to provide today based on the population that you serve, how much more you're going to have to provide as the population grows, and what are the capabilities of the current infrastructure to provide that. So once we sort of understand that, then we decide how much space it's going to take, how much are you going to have to build, how much can you reuse, all of those sorts of things will help you do site analysis. We'll do some schemes that will take the square footages that we've decided on and say, well, what might that look like if we put it on this site versus this site? Do you build one big municipal complex, or is it multiple buildings? All of those questions will be answered in part during this planning study. And at the end of it, you have a roadmap that will give you sort of a thoughtful progression to get from where you are today to the city services you're going to need in 15 or 20 years. So that's the extent of this. We're not proposing that we come in and design a building at this point. Before we do that, we need to plan what kind of building you might need, and more specifically, how big a building and what kind of services you're going to have to provide. So until you know those things, you can't really decide on what kind of building. So that's the purpose of the master plan. And we've submitted a proposal to provide those services. The study itself, like I said, it does existing condition assessments of all the buildings. It does site analysis, traffic analysis. We look at floodplain issues, all of those kind of things, and help to put forward a plan for the city that addresses the needs in a thought-out way before growth. So that's sort of the short version of what's in the proposal.
It was Tim Scott, is that right?
Tim Smith.
Smith. And Mr. Smith, I looked at your recommendations, and I think it's a really plan. It was easy for us to understand. I appreciate that. I think I'm totally with you on not waiting until we have the major react. And we have a city hall that's in rapid state of decay, concerned about which. So I think this is timely for the sake of the public that are here. Frank, that cost that they propose, which is $37,500, would be underneath of a limit where we would have to go and get other bids for this service. Is that correct?
I believe it's fall under summary more. Does that sound?
Yeah, it is below the dollar amount of what's required for a bid.
Yes.
And so you're capable of doing the assessment and then also the engineering on the building.
Yes, sir. We're full service A&E firm.
And once once the assessment is done, how long is that assessment good for? If we need a little time before we can move along to the engineering and the building job.
Yes, so that would be part of the process is understanding, funding issues and when you're going to be ready to build based on, again, basically starting with those population projections and understanding that, and then looking at revenue and things like that. And there are, financing alternatives to issuing bonds and things like that. We can discuss those too. That's sort of after the master planning process, but as far as timing, that'll be part of the study. Phasing oftentimes is part of the study, because we're not going to look at what you have today and say, all right, we're going to go break ground tomorrow and build something that'll be 30 years down the road. There's a ramping up process, so it'll be a phased process, I would assume. For example, the public safety facilities, you might build a first phase that is expandable, so that once you get 15 years into this plan, and now your police department is 30 people or something like that, then it's time to expand. So you don't build it all at once, but plan for it to be expanded at a certain point.
I will say, and thank you very much, Mr. Smith. And I'll say that this isn't something that just occurred in the city. Frankly, I'm thinking about what we might do, or what we need to do for some time. He and I also put together a civilian group to consider our options, but the decisions are too different. And so the civilian board really wasn't able to come to a consensus or put a team together that there was action. But knowing that I think we probably safe to say that we have grown just about all of our city facilities. And we all know what shape the city hall is in. And so it's a good to start doing something. Any further comment or questions?
Do we have funds available?
It's not this item, it's budget.
This item is a budget. Where the monies would come from council to be able to pay for just the master plan would be out of unanticipated sales tax revenue, as well as court revenue. So that's how we would be able to pay for it. It wasn't one of the things that we presented in the budget. It was something that was needed, but we didn't have a quote from Newberry. It wasn't something that we requested a proposal, because we're trying to make do with what we have. We're limited on this opportunity came to us. So instead of waiting until we get to October 1st, we do have revenue there. I thought it would be a good idea for y'all to consider. So hopefully y'all agree. If not, we can certainly wait till October. I don't believe any of the buildings are going to fall in. We know what kind of shape it's in. We've had structures do the assessment in City Hall. It's just, the more time that passes, my anxiety just keeps going. So, because you want a safe environment for the employees, you want a safe environment for the citizens to come into, and you want something that everybody's proud of as well. And I believe we are proud of our facilities. It's just, we don't have the capability to keep them in the shape that they're in. And so, Tim's crew coming in and doing the assessment, helping us identify what our strengths are and how we can possibly repurpose, I think would be beneficial.
And talking about the locations are also a consideration. There's nothing saying that where you're knocking down anything that's currently on city property. That's not what's being proposed. So locations for anything are being considered. Are there any other questions or comments? Council? Well, I would entertain a motion on this.
Make a motion to proceed and get rid of the master plan.
Is there a second? We have a second. All in favor? And it is unanimous, so we'll proceed. So,
probably guessed it's going to be a lengthy one. We don't want to make everyone stay there for hours and hours. So we have a departmental report.
Judy?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. In the month of May, the library saw 1,645 patrons. We had 36 new patrons. The library applied for it and was awarded a $1,000 grant from the Dollar General Literacy Foundation. An employee, Brenda Witcher, wrote the grant and will be using the money to purchase books for the summer reading program. Jennifer, you had a question?
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right. We also received notification that 40 libraries in Texas, we were selected to host the Tame Taylor. And the Trailblazer Tour that Tame stands for TAME, is a Texas Alliance for Minorities in Engineering. It's part of the STEM project, which is another acronym for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This is for 3rd to 8th grade students. Registration is required. Please call the library to reserve your spot. It's on July 30th. Let's see. Summer reading program kicked off yesterday with the Yo-Yo Expert. Every Monday here at the Community Center at 10:30, we have a family event. Join us next Monday for miniature horses. And our adult programs are beginning adult computer classes continue to go strongly, as well as our preschool story time and other services. This summer is very busy for us. We could use some volunteer help if we find out at extra time. And come join us. Follow us on Facebook.
Thank you. Dave?
Good afternoon. The county line water extension is made a tie-in on the east side of US 75, working on the west end. Once that's completed, we'll test the water, the full length of the water line to the well. Dallas water line extension, they failed with one of the back feeds, so we'll retest this week, and once that's tested, we'll put that line in service. The street paving is over 75% complete, so we're almost complete with the street paving for this year. And Stone Hollow is, it's got the contractor in, started installing streets and stuff, already today.
Still on Palm Thunder. Good job, Steve. All right, Chief?
Mayor, Council, Police Department had 76 hours of training this last month, had 56 incidents, responded to 862 calls for service. We also, this last weekend, some of y'all may have been at the Wilson and Jones, we participated in the Safe Saturday up there with the other departments in the area. Enjoyed that. Communication had 165 911 calls. They dispatched 840 calls for service and had 4,143 phone calls to the communications, and courts had 296 cases closed. One thing we'll be participating in this month coming up is the DWI extra enforcement with TxDOT partnership. And that will start around the holiday weekend. We'll have extra officers out for those events, and that's a partnership with us and TxDOT. They pay the officers overtime to look for impaired drivers. Also, probably many of y'all probably seen the news today, or if you hadn't, you will tomorrow, about we had an officer involved in a crash this afternoon. No injuries either party. They've been looked at, released, and so we're thankful for that.
Thank you, Chief. Jennifer?
In the month of May, the Administrative Department issued 2 commercial permits for mechanical, electrical signs for demolition, and then 9 residential permits for plumbing, re-roofing, foundation repair, fencing, or miscellaneous accessory structures. We accepted and entered 23 new utility accounts, 10 mailing address changes, 1 utility account transfer, and 16 utility account disconnections. We also processed 85 purchase orders and issued 55 general fund checks, 50 water fund checks, 3 insurance trust fund checks, 3 court technology fund checks, 1 S&N Enterprises check, and 2 impact fee checks for a total of 114. Also, just make sure everyone's aware, the Planning and Zoning Commission will meet here tomorrow evening at 6:30, and the Parks and Rec Board will also meet here Thursday the 16th at 6:30. And City Hall will be closed on Monday, July 4th, in observance of Independence Day.
Mayor and Council, Lieutenant Thompson's out on call, so I'll report for the fire department for the month of May. Lieutenant Thompson and Engineer Adam Hutash completed inspector class, and they are to assist with fire marshal duties. Immediately, for the month of May, the calls for service, there were 24 fire calls and 112 EMS calls. The Van Alstyne Fire Department's working with TCEQ to develop a live burn training for the department. The grants through FEMA and the Forestry Service are still being performed. And I sent out to y'all as well as the chamber and the leader. Our 4th of July fireworks will be at the Van Alstyne High School on the 4th. We didn't want to compete with Anna, Melissa, or any of the other adjoining cities for our fireworks display, so we're going to have it on the 4th as opposed to Saturday or Sunday. We do invite everybody to attend. Hope you will. It should start about 30 minutes after dark. And we also, with that, if you look at the chamber, or I believe Rodney will have it in the paper, I'll confirm that with him. The fire department produced just a reminder about fireworks safety. You always play around with fireworks every year. You kind of think that it'll never happen to you, but just please be safe with fireworks. We don't, the guys love being trained and love making calls, but nobody really wants to make a call. So on somebody who's been injured by fireworks. So please be safe. As far as city manager report, honestly, the majority of it's been wrapped up by department heads. Unless any of y'all have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
I just want to thank all the departments and all the city councilmen for all the work they do and all the thoughtfulness and what they do. And the city's making some big steps forward. Obviously, with all the new housing that's being built, and now we're going to start looking at what we might do for city facilities. So we're moving right on. And I appreciate everyone's work.
Bob, did you have anything?
No, the only thing I was going to talk about that Steve hasn't talked about is we're still trying to wrap up the pipe bursting project for the sewer line that's over east of the railroad. All the rain we've had, about the time it starts getting dry enough, it rains again. And so they've not been able to get in there and finalize that project. And then we do have 2 final plans scheduled for P&Z tomorrow night that the council will see next month. That's for some additional development in the Georgetown area and for development in the industrial park.
Well, as you know, we've got recess for an executive session. Is 7:44. Pretty long executive session. Thanks, everybody.
Mayor, the executive session item has to be read aloud.
I'm sorry. I have to read in accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, open meetings law, the City Council may meet in a closed executive session pursuant to applicable laws. Item number 29, all items below for executive session pursuant to the following designated sections of the Texas Government Code annotated, subchapter 551. The council will enter into executive session to discuss the following items. A, Texas Government Code Section 551.071, 2 in parentheses, and Texas Government Code Section 551.074, personnel matters. Consult with its attorney on a matter that is the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas, clearly conflict with the Open Meetings Act, in parentheses 551.071. Subsection B, and to discuss or deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, public officer or employee pursuant to section 551.074, A in parentheses, 1 in parentheses, of the Texas Open Meetings Act. Item number O, under that, number 1 is administrative court. All right. And the two items that came off of our regular session that we're going to consider in executive session are item 21, consider, provide correction, take any action necessary regarding our request from John Jennings to revise current city towing ordinance procedures to include rotation selection list, rotation list selection system. And
20.
20, consider and take any action necessary regarding awarding of the depository agreement. And we will be reconvening the regular session after the executive session. But that may go on. Well, no, we're going to executive session at the time 10:11 p.m. and we're going to reconvene the regular session. Now regarding the towing ordinance, it's a difficult decision. We're not taking any action on that tonight. We'll consider that. Okay, and so the only thing remaining to discuss is the depository agreement. Because we shouldn't give you an opportunity.
I mean, what I was going to say was that didn't have anything else.
I can give it to you if you want to go through it.
Well, I mean, y'all already discussed it, right? Very major decision. Right?
No decisions been made yet.
Well,
Oh, it hadn't.
well, we haven't taken, we can't take any action in that closed session. Julie scribbled some stuff on it.
It was just this paragraph right there. Go. Yes, sir. It's under the section, it says, the question says, please provide any additional information that your bank believes to be pertinent, but not specifically requested elsewhere in the RFP. And the response was, Texas Star Bank has provided quality service to the city of Alstyne for years. The bank's quality of service and benefits to the city were not the reason for the depository moving in 2013. Texas Star Bank's proximity to City Hall is beneficial and convenient to city employees and city customers who wish to conduct their business, including notary services in downtown Dallas.
Make sure that it's correct.
Before you go, you have to recuse yourself.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And so we have a motion. Is there a motion regarding the awarding of a depository?
I'll make the motion that we retain Independent Bank as our depository.
And I think I'm supposed to actually ask, after a motion is made, for a second, is there any, well, all right, well,
No.
let's just do what we've been doing all along. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? We have no votes, and that, the motion carries. And I think that's all we have to do tonight.
Council's voting on this, everybody's voting. We already do that?
We did.
Okay.
We didn't do council's closing.
Oh, we did.
No, we did.
Council
We did
didn't
staff.
speak.
I did, I said something. Anyone have closing comments? Okay. All right, going out. Okay. Well then, motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor? All right, it's unanimous. Adjourn at 10:00.